Welcome to Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve. I'm Steve.
And I'm Dave.
And today we were going to have a certain somebody, but they canceled. So we called somebody else, the world's #1 Def Leppard fan that we've referred to several times. But they canceled on us too. So instead we have...
Hi, I'm Don Nosferatu.
Welcome to Side 1, Side B.
Well, thank you.
How you feeling today?
Loopy. Goosey.
Well,
I'm
good.
ready to have some fun.
Good. That's why we brought you here today. So I hear you've been kind of on a Queens of the Stone Age, Caius related kick.
Yes.
Well, good.
The what do they call it? The desert scene or
Yeah, Desert Rock.
Desert Rock, yeah.
Yeah. Well, today we are taking a look at a band that's not from the Desert Rock scene, but I came across them because I was surfing around on Blabbermouth like fucking 10 years ago, because we're fucking old now, and it had a banner ad for Red Fang, and it said, if you like Queens of the Stone Age, and I forget what the other band was, but I was like, oh, I like Queens of the Stone Age. I like whatever that other band was. It was probably Mastodon. I think it was Mastodon.
Okay.
So I clicked on it, and that's probably the only time a banner ad's ever worked on me, is this one band. And it took me to their music, and I was kind of blown away by it, because I felt at that time that the stoner rock thing was kind of getting a little stale. Like, a lot of bands were doing it.
Right.
So it was kind of a breath of fresh air, in a sense, when I listened to it. And then when I started looking at their music videos, I'm like, oh, these guys are fucking hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's the main way I know them, is their music videos. Like, I like the one where they buy a katana with their entire music video budget, and then they start, like, cutting off their own fingers and stabbing themselves
I love that music
while
video.
trying to, like, slice some watermelon in half type of thing. then I remember the one where they get bullied by some LARPers, and so they decide to respond by making a bunch of armor out of beer cans and then just wrecking their shit.
yeah, today we're going to be taking a look at the Murder the Mountains album, which is their second studio album. And that was the one that released when I became aware of them back in 2011. I actually saw them at one of our local dive bars on the Dinky stage that we've all played a million times.
Nice.
And then the year after, I saw them opening for Mastodon. So they really shot up in a very short amount of time. They were formed in Portland, and I guess they were a bunch of like math rock guys that decided they just kind of want to do something simpler. So they formed this band, and it was... I think the results have been great. So we'll find out from you both, because neither of you are familiar with this album, right?
No, unless that's one of those two songs I talked about the videos for.
No, that was two different albums. So, yeah, you'll be completely unfamiliar with this one, which is good. The band is made up of guitarist and vocalist Brian Giles, bassist and vocalist Aaron Beam, guitarist David Sullivan, and drummer John Sherman. I met Brian Giles outside their merch booth at the Mastodon show, and God bless him, but the last thing he wanted to be doing was talking to me. But he obliged, so yeah, he's a super cool dude. But I get it. I've gotten off stage before, and like people have come up to me, and I'm like, wrong energy.
What's the worst? What's the worst is when people try to talk to me when I'm trying to tear down.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun talking to the guy, though, because he gave me an insight on a couple other things. Like, I asked him, like, because they're older guys, so I was kind of surprised, like where'd these guys come from? I was like, oh yeah, we've just all been in different bands around Portland, and we all just decided to get something together, and this is the first thing that actually took off. So it actually gives me a little bit of hope, because well one thing I really thought was funny to hear from the guitarist is he's got this, I think it used to be a Fender Jaguar, but it's since been carved into this guitar that looks like a potato, so I call it the potato guitar. So I asked him, like, did you make that one? And he's like, nah man, it came fucked up to me. And I don't know, I like it. I'll have to show you guys a picture while we're listening to side one, because it's ridiculous looking.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else to talk about?
We could look at the album.
Oh yeah, the
Art.
thing we neglect to do every single time.
Yeah, the thing that we definitely should be doing at the beginning and not after we've already listened to a side of the album.
Hey, what do we look like, professionals? So we're dragging this podcast into the 21st century finally, because everything we've done so far has been 70s, late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I keep bringing in like the weird off the beaten path records that like nobody ever listens to, and like for every Danny Joe Brown and the Danny Joe Brown band you get, there's probably like 5 Deanos in that category, which are still fun to listen to, but you know, you bring your friends over to record a podcast and then you get Sean yelling about Ace Frehley, and you can only do that so many times. So I thought, all right, I'll bring something in that everybody can enjoy, and this one is Red Fang, Murder the Mountains. It comes with a sleeve where the artwork is obscured behind a window there, but you can pull it out. And I will give this over to Dave to describe.
All right, so this looks like something from like a nightmare escape from like an H.P. Lovecraft story. This is an eldritch pile of flesh with wings and tentacles and eyes against like a desolated heat blasted craggy mountains in the background and weird eldritch lines. And yeah, this is cosmic horror. That's how I describe this cover. And the back definitely leans into it because you have like similar kind of design, only there's like a bird perched on top of the eldritch flesh pile, and there's some antlers and a hand with an eye on it. This is the kind of 1920s novella I like to read, is basically how I would describe this. Pete.
My. This looks like something my mother would not want me listening to.
Oh, I'm sorry, Don.
Well, you know that Christian moms are right about Marilyn Manson, so that means they were right about everything.
And J.K. Rowling.
And J.K. Rowling, yes.
Yeah, no, this, okay, so, alright, yeah, okay, alright. No, I like this a lot, though. Kind of reminds me, since I've been getting into it in the last few years here, of kind of a D&D sort of stuff, definitely kind of Fantasyland.
Yeah, I can see that vibe, for sure.
I'm guessing, at least 2 of these guys have rolled a 20-sided die a time or 2.
Well, judging by their prehistoric dog video, that's a very, very good chance of that, yeah.
I bet all of them have, but just to differing degrees.
Yeah. And of course, as a huge fan of like the stoner rock genre, I mean, that was my music for the longest time in Megaton, was the kind of music that we're going to be listening to here. And to me, this is a perfect representation of the kind of stuff we'll be hearing on this album. So looks like there are a couple of additional musicians that I'll give some recognition to here. They had Chris Funk on slide guitar and percussion, Jenny Conley on organ. I think all rock needs more organ.
Yes.
Kevin Robinson, percussion effects, and Anita Robinson on guitar. And they appeared courtesy of Capitol Records and Vanguard Records, because, you know, when a label signs you, that means they own you.
Well, I just want to say that Piss Poor Recordings does not own me. And that's what's great about Piss Poor Recordings, is they don't own you.
Yeah, Floof Goof Studios owns me. I'll be working for them for the rest of my life. Well, all right. Well, we'll throw this on and we'll see what y'all think of side A. All right, so we're back from side A.
Ooh. That is tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Thank Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew, for give me some more vanilla brown ale.
And he'll be our guest next week, so... Well, it's not really a person placement.
Yeah.
All right, what'd you guys think? Dave, you go first.
I really liked it. My favorite track was probably Dirt Wizard. I thought that one was pretty cool, despite us running into the first time this has happened on this podcast, where the record got stuck.
Yeah, how the... on the newest record that we've played on this, and we've played some pretty beat to shit records on here. Like my Danny Joe Brown copy ain't clean.
Well, and with how poorly packaged that Diano record was shipping from the UK, I'm surprised that one played so clean all the way through.
Yeah, and the Ace Frehley one, all of those are old, and this one was pressed recently, so I don't know. I probably played this one a lot back when it came out, but Dirt Wizard, because every stoner rock band has to have a wizard song.
Yeah, well, at least half those guys from just watching the video to the other song look like wizards. They have like the wizard beards. So yeah, you have to do a wizard song. If you look like a wizard, you are creating something from pure electricity. So let's just say it's magic.
All right, but real quick, which one do you think would be the Eldritch Knight?
I would have to rewatch the one where they have the katana to decide which one has the best sword skills.
We would probably have to put on Prehistoric Dog too and take that into account.
Well, I liked it. I wasn't like a huge fan of it, but no, it was good. I would say that definitely heard a lot of Mastodon, more Mastodon than like Queens of Stone Age stuff.
Yeah, I would have picked Caius for that that banner, but they probably thought the same thing. But they're like, yeah, more people are going to know Queens of the Stone Age though, and
it sounded kind of like evil Queens of the Stone Age sometimes.
Which basically is Caius.
Yeah.
Definitely muddier production than I would have expected. It kind of reminded me of, I'm dating myself here, but so not only did I have a dual tape deck when I was a kid, I also had the cassette adapter to go from a CD player to a cassette. And I found that if you do a high-speed tape dub, but the original copy is actually the cassette adapter playing at normal speed, it slows the music down. And I took a butt trumpet CD and basically I think I invented sludge metal that day.
Nice.
And that's very much what the production sounded like.
Yeah.
I used to have a record player that ran slower than usual. It was like very slight, so it made all of my music sound a little more evil than usual, and that was kind of cool, actually.
Oh yeah, one time I bought like a live promotional single that had Gates of Steel by Devo on it, and I accidentally had the record player running way too slow for a 45 because I'd just listened to a regular LP at that point, and I put it on, and then. So it was a lot deeper because it was slower too. It sounded like Black Sabbath trying to play a John Carpenter theme.
We'll go through a track breakdown, so we'll just start at the first one. But when I took down my notes for this, I was thinking back to when I first came across this band, and I bought the CD just based on the description because I've been burned by that a few times, but I didn't think I was going to this time, and I was right. And I remember I put on Malverde on CD, and just from the second that intro hit, I'm like, I'm gonna love this whole album.
Yeah, Malverde was an awesome album opener, but it's also like, to me, it was the least memorable song of the side. But
you're right. Yeah. It really is, but I think it's a really strong track nonetheless.
I really love the drumming on it. What I didn't care for is the chorus chant, whatever. But it's a bit repetitive. It got kind of annoying in that sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I think what Dave said about kind of being the least memorable, I don't know if I'd go with that, but close.
Then the next song, we just watched the music video for Wires. That song, well, I'll let you guys go first.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the vocal harmonies at the end, and then the guitar feedback stuff that was going at the end. I liked what it built to. It was kind of a slow build where they were kind of adding stuff in as it kept going, and I really, really liked that last minute and a half or so where all the elements were in place. I thought it sounded really, really cool.
And that was one where I definitely heard more of the Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah, for sure. That one had
kind of that bounce to it. Kind of like, was it Nobody Knows?
No One Knows, yeah.
It has kind of that same bounce to it. And I think Wires was actually my favorite one off the first side.
I can really see why they chose that as the single. That sounded like the single to me.
Yeah, that one, it's a long song, but I think it varies enough that it's still interesting. There's points where I was kind of feeling get on with it, but then they got on with it. So
yeah, right.
What'd you guys think of the video?
Video was funny. Yeah, I liked it.
It was good.
I had seen it before, and I didn't remember that until it got to the point where they drove the car through the through the milk. Yeah, it's like I've seen this. There's nowhere else I would have seen this. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I showed you that video back when it came out, but
Yeah, probably.
Another funny thing about that video is there was another band on Relapse that did a video where they were going through a small grocery store type thing, and they go around the corner, and then it's the Red Fang guys just holding arms full of milk, and they just stare at each other for like a few seconds, and then the music video continues. I forget what I either want to say Havoc or Toxic Holocaust, so both of those are probably wrong. So I probably should have looked it up.
Yeah, probably. I liked seeing Brian Posehn in the video.
Oh yeah, always a welcome treat to see Brian Posehn. The next song is sad. It's about the guy's cat. Hank is dead.
Hank is dead, which means that the Illiterates is going to have a song about Gladys in the near future.
Yes.
You've given me permission to write a song about Gladys by having this on our rotation for the podcast.
I even put that in my notes. David should make a song about Gladys.
Yeah, I liked this one. This one reminded me of grunge more than anything else. This seemed like it could, I don't know, be off of like that first Nirvana album or like Mudhoney or something like that.
See, you're saying that earlier, and I don't get that feel from it at all. But at the same time, I can't really describe it. I mean, just general stoner rock, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe this is the one that I would call like the least memorable. It did have kind of the vocal harmony, kind of like that kind of long, not really a scream, almost like kind of like a wail, sort of. But yeah, it was. The next one I thought was way more grungy sounding.
I could see that. Like the next one sounded like a different kind of grunge to me, like kind of like the Melvins. Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing I thought when I heard that song was, oh yeah, this sounds like the Melvins. And when I mentioned it while we were playing it, I think you even picked out Houdini specifically, and it's like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, no, that's Throw Up. We're not even that. You're skipping Dirt Wizard.
Oh, did I skip Dirt Wizard? Oh,
yeah.
Shoot.
So, no, I thought Dirt Wizard had more of a grunge sound, like the early Nirvana stuff. Heard more on that one.
It was a cool song. I despite the skipping, it was
yeah, that's
like
a bit irritating.
Yeah, it's all good. It had to happen eventually. Just surprised that it was for the newest record we've done.
Yeah, seriously. I think I'm with Pete on Hank is Dead being the least memorable for me on this one. It's still a song I like. When I tend to listen to full albums, so it's not a thing I would skip.
Right.
So
yeah.
And then, I was saying about Throw Up, that sounds just like a Melvin song to me. And the panicky sounding chords that he does with his guitar at the end just, I don't know, it just does something that makes me go, ah!
Yeah.
It gives you that alarming feeling, and it kind of gets you up on edge, and it just sounds badass. And I'm really mad that when I saw him live, he turned around while they were doing it.
Let me know your secrets, wizard.
I'm sure I can find a video of it now, but at the time I wanted to know how to make that sound.
Nice. Yeah, that was also like a good closer. It felt like the culmination of what the tracks before it had built. It felt like a way to wrap up where that side was going. It had like elements of all the previous songs to some degree.
Yeah, that's my favorite song on the record. What'd you think, Don? I can edit it.
But like I said, the only real note I have on here is that it is more of a grungy sound. I took notes, but not as detailed as you guys apparently.
That's all right. We just recorded the punk compilation, and there was one where I was like, oh, I really like this song. And then by the time Dave got back to the chair to sit down, I forgot to take notes. And then we got to that part, and I'm like, I don't remember a goddamn thing about this song. So I'd be like, Dave, go first.
When I saw Dirt Wizard, the first thing I thought was Alcoholic Wizards.
Yeah.
Well, and my old band was very much in this style, and we're joking around that every doom or stoner band needs a wizard song, but I didn't want to just write like a normal wizard song, so I wanted to make it funny. So yeah, we turned it into Alcoholic Wizards.
Well, weren't you also joking that like every band like that also had a song about drinking whiskey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe, I don't remember. Yeah. That was 10 years ago, and my brain is less.
That brings up an interesting question in my mind here. Are there any straight edge stoner metal bands?
There should be.
Well,
I would listen to a straight edge stoner metal band.
Megaton was pretty close to that because me and Serena, me at the time anyway.
Yeah.
I guess Mario was kind of the ruiner of that as far as every member being. But
I think I have an Alcoholic Wizard sticker on my Korg MS-20 over there.
yeah, that was a great design that Serena came up with that we put everywhere. Well, all right. Well, so side A overall, I feel is a very strong side. And from what I remember, I think I prefer side A over side B. But the interesting thing is, since I've listened to this on CD for so long, I don't really... My mind never broke that up before, so I'm having a hard time picturing a side B as just an independent side.
Right.
So I'm curious to hear that. I mean, obviously I've listened to this before, but yeah, usually I'm just used to listening to all the songs in a row. So...
Are you still skipping over Throw It Up, though? Or Throw Up?
Didn't I talk about it?
No.
You talked about Throw Up, yeah.
I thought we were talking about Dirt Wizard still. Podcast faux pas.
Yeah, did you have anything else you wanted to say about Throw Up then?
I mean, just that, Melvins and then also later era Black Flag.
Oh, yeah.
Which we all kind of agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Like, it sounded more like Melvin's than later era Black Flag, because later era Black Flag to me sounds like a worse version of the Melvins.
Yeah, I remember early on when Dave was in Megaton and we were doing our My War cover, I actually played him the album and he was only familiar with like their earliest stuff. And I remember we got to some of the weirder shit like later on.
Now, you may want to point out for your listeners, not this Dave.
Oh, yeah, a different Dave.
Dave the drummer.
Dave the drummer.
I'm pretty sure who has vanished entirely into the air by now, because I have not heard from him for years. But he auditioned for Valley of Shadows at one point, though. But yes, different Dave.
He's
Drummer.
an insurance salesman in Reseda.
That's probably not too far from the truth. But he said that like we got to one of the weirder songs later on in the album, and it got to a part where Greg Ginn was just playing this solo, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
and Dave just goes, this is great, but why didn't they learn how to tune their guitars? And it's like, yeah, there were a lot of great ideas. In our Talking Heads video, I clipped out a part where I said my biggest criticism of punk is usually the production. And like a few commenters got kind of mad at me for that. But it's like, well, yeah, but think about my punk experience. Yeah. Black Flag was probably the first punk band I ever listened to.
Yeah.
And then Dave came along and went, this stuff was produced better.
Yeah. Well, and that's the kind of thing, people will rip on someone like Kerry King for being like just like a shitty noise-making guitar player. He ain't got nothing in Greg Ginn.
Yeah.
I'd take Kerry King over Greg Ginn any day.
Yeah.
And I hate Kerry King.
Oh, so when we do his new solo album on this podcast, we should bring you in for that, right?
Why?
I don't think Don is the person to bring in for negativity. I think that's Sean. Whenever we need to just be negative on something, just Sean will take that spot.
I don't know, Clayton's pretty negative too.
Yeah.
He's pretty
I'll be
picky.
here for toxic positivity.
How do you feel about the Kiss solo albums?
Haven't listened to them, but I've also never heard anything good about them, which is why I haven't listened to them.
I was surprised by the cover being kind of good, but like the rest of it sucked.
Well, I had an idea earlier when we were getting that if we ever get to a point where we can do like a charity stream.
Bell's not paying us. You're gonna have to beep that shit.
Taco smell.
No, just call it tuberculitis.
Yeah.
The restaurant we went to the restaurant that gives you diarrhea
and TB
and TB and well, anyway, that's not the important part. Anyway, so if we ever get to a part where we can do a charity stream, I want to do the 3 solo Kiss albums that Sean hasn't heard. And then in the place of Ace Frehley, I want Clayton to bring in his copy of Frehley's Comet. And I hope Sean listens to this, because I want him to dread that for a while.
I hope Sean doesn't shoot us in the head.
Oh, he's gonna love the Peter Criss album. Okay, did we actually cover all the songs this time?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
It was a good album. I liked it.
Well, we've only listened to half of it.
Yes. No, but yeah, like there are songs in here that I would put on one of those random ass mixes that you heard in my car earlier today.
Nice.
It was an above average so far.
Well, yeah. Well, let's flip it. Let's with it good. You know, that song. And that other song.
And the one after it.
The song that had like those bird noises on the keyboard. Yeah.
All right, we are back from side B. And
boy, are my arms tired.
My arms are tired from trying to swim through that undertow.
what'd you guys think?
Thought it was pretty good. I think maybe as a whole it was a little weaker than the first side, but not like it wasn't like the giant drop you sometimes get.
Yeah, I don't know if I thought the whole thing was, it started off better.
Yeah, I think Painted Parade might have been my favorite on the side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to compare because I mean, side one for the most part was pretty even as far as my enjoying of it. Side two really started strong and then kind of wavered a bit at the end.
Yeah, I think for me, side B on a whole was heavier than side one. Side one seems to have more immediately rememberable moments, but side B on a whole also has a lot of moments that hit really hard for me. Mm-hmm. But I think I agree. I really like the undertow, but Human Herd, while I did enjoy it, was a bit weaker than the rest of the tracks. So I probably wouldn't have chose that as a closer if I was producing this.
I don't know. I kind of liked Human Herd more than Into the Eye.
Well, I mean, I guess I was going to wait until I actually got to it, but, you know, I really liked Human Herd at first, and then it just kept going.
maybe it should have been a minute shorter.
Yeah.
Well, we'll elaborate on that here in a minute, but we'll start with Painted Parade. I put that it had a sick drum intro, and I thought that it hit really hard.
It was like the drum intro from Painkiller by Judas Priest into a punk song almost.
Yeah.
I actually put clickety-clack drums. Yeah, I fucking loved it. And then, all right, so I put clickety-clack drums turns into fuck yeah! A real fist pumper.
And one thing I actually realized from listening to this album more on CD and streaming is my brain almost kind of put Throw Up and Painted Parade together in a way.
Okay.
Because I would, a lot of times I would just go straight to Throw Up because it was my favorite one. And then I'd go to Painted Parade and I wouldn't stop it. So my brain kind of associates them together. So it was interesting to sit down and really hear it from a separated perspective.
Right.
And
I can imagine.
I wonder, there was probably, in the 90s, I think they stopped taking into account the side one, side B thing. But I think a lot of artists are doing that again because vinyl's entered the mainstream again. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's why so many 90s albums just feel like way too long, just like trudges.
Yeah.
They're also longer, but it's also then like there's no break point in the middle, and it just kind of drags. But yeah.
I like how Offspring Smash on the CD, since they have the track on there for when normally this is when you'd be flipping the record over.
Yeah. Break it up. Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest criticism of Metallica's Load and Reload is the same criticism James Hetfield has. The albums are just too fucking... They have some great songs on both those albums, but they should have parsed it down to one, I think.
Well, when you get like 70-minute albums that could have been great if they were 40-minute albums.
Yep.
It's like that's a lot of the 90s.
Restraint is not always an easy thing as a musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can fit 72 minutes onto a CD, so let's just fill the whole thing up.
Yeah, because that's something like I've thought about recently too, because I told you guys earlier I'm doing kind of like a studio album NoFX review thing, right? And my favorite NoFX song is actually a B-side that's only on comp, Johnny music. And it's like, this is such a great song, why is it on an album? But I try and think, well, what album would it really fit on?
Would it have felt like it? Would it have made an album drag? Yeah,
it would have fit there. Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with there's other material, but that reminds me of that Dillinger Force song we used to cover. It's a B-side.
Yeah.
And I remember it took me so long to like find it again because I was trying to think of it, and my brain just couldn't figure out what the song was. And instead of me just messaging you and asking, I just kind of like did an investigation through their Wikipedia page, and it took me so fucking long to find that song again.
And it's hilarious because that's actually my flat out number one favorite song, period, is that song. Yeah, of course it's a B-side.
Yeah, like such an obscure song. And we've talked about this on like every episode, and we've come across so many bonus tracks that probably should have been album tracks. Like our first episode on Black Sabbath's Headless Cross, potentially the best song song on the album was a B-side, and they didn't even put it on the new pressing of the record that they did. And at first I thought it was a space thing, but that song was on the picture disc.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's like in our episode on the punk comp, I talk a little bit about Joy Division and how they refused to repeat songs on that they'd released as non-album singles on albums, and so like as a result, like in my opinion, their best 2 songs, and then like also as well as their biggest hit, which is different from the rest of them, just aren't on an album. They were singles.
Yeah.
They stayed as singles. They saw putting them on an album as ripping off fans.
And then number 13. Speaking of Black Sabbath, that one really reminded me of Black Sabbath, besides the harsher vocals and the phrasing of the lead guitar, but it had kind of a groove or like a bluesy shuffle kind of vibe. I thought the bass really stood out on it, especially when he was playing the higher notes on the chorus.
Yeah, bass was the most noticeable part of that one.
So I feel kind of bad because, to be honest, I completely missed the beginning of that song because we were chit-chatting too much. And then once I realized, this doesn't sound like Pain and Parade at all. It's probably the next song. And I looked at how long Pain and Parade is, only 2:29. It's like, this is definitely the next song.
Yeah.
And then I was like, ooh, it just got to like the solo-esque section. I like this. Very nice.
Yeah, solo was good. Kind of liked the chanting, yeah.
Yeah, I clued in, and I'm like, all right, this is cool. I'm liking this. And then it just got to that section, and it wasn't solo in like sense of like solo, but it was just like there's like they switched up the groove on it, and I just thought that was just like a really nice transition.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I think probably the grooviest song, at least on this side.
Yeah, well, Don, don't feel too bad because, podcasts are just a friendship simulator. Aww. And since we're simulating a bunch of guys sitting around listening to records, you not paying attention and us chit-chatting is part of the experience.
Yeah.
True.
So,
and
because we're your friends.
Yes. People can hear this in their earbuds and be our friends too.
Yes. We are your best friends.
Well, I have to be here because he's my DM. for Dungeons and Dragons, not an S&M dungeon. Just to be clear here.
Yes.
No, I run his S&M dungeon.
But you're not my DM.
You run the dungeon, but you're
Daddy.
the sub. Yeah.
Well, and every time I go in there, I say, "Into the Eye!"
I thought Into the Eye was the weakest track on this side, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The vocals didn't work for me, like doing that kind of, like, doing like that James Hetfield voice didn't, yeah.
It's funny because I like how the two vocals bounce off of each other, so I actually really liked the contrast between the two vocals.
See, I wrote, this song smokes weed, so I don't have to. But it was, very dirgy. I liked that a lot, and I guess I kind of let my mind wander a little bit, and I kind of pictured almost a movie scenario of one of Rasputin's assassination attempts, and him, after everyone's left, assuming he's dead, him slowly crawling and gritting himself back up, and that's just what that song made me think of.
Yeah, I could. Now that you bring that up, I can totally see that. I also put that the riff is heavy as fuck.
The riff was pretty heavy. Like the riff was good. I don't know, it just didn't click for me. It felt like it dragged a little bit, and the vocals weren't like any of the vocals anywhere else in the album. And that kind of struck me as odd.
And then the undertow.
A little too long. I liked some of the effects stuff, especially at the end.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I'm a doom metal fan, so of course I fucking loved it. Very slow, very trippy. It reminded me of Tool, despite the title.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it was a cheeky. I don't know. But it also kind of reminded me a bit of Electric Wizard or a bit of Typo Negative. Not like a whole lot, but a little bit.
It was really slow.
It does not surprise me that you guys didn't.
Yeah, I liked the guitar layering and like the organ sound effects and all that at the end. The organ and sound effects at the end, and yeah.
But it's not just that it was slow, because I like some slow stuff. That's fine, but it just felt like it kept wanting to break out and just like kick it up a notch and just like blast into something, and it just never did. It reminded me how someone once described cocaine to me as waiting for a party that never starts.
Well, and I wonder, does it kind of fit with Human Herd as an intro? Not really, does it?
No, because Human Herd. Definitely heard some Queens there. But it had like a really nice solid groove. It'd be like a great road trip song until it just held on a little bit too long.
Yeah.
It just didn't have the legs to keep it going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of like the way it kicked off. I kind of like it. Almost felt like a glam rock guitar riff at the beginning.
Yeah,
and then like the vocal.
but not cheesy.
Yeah, I meant like early 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not T-Rex, not Poison.
Yeah, T-Rex, not Poison. Yeah, like a heavier version of T-Rex, and like even with the vocals too. Yeah. I thought it was really cool. Like it started really well. It just went just a little too long. Maybe they should have just faded it out at some point. Yeah.
I liked how it was energetic at the start. I liked the bass line in it and the lead playing. I thought the vocals kind of reminded me a lot of the art punk stuff that you show me. I don't know if maybe they had their guitar player that doesn't sing as much on this one, because it sounded like a completely different vocalist from every other song. And I don't know if that actually is the case, or if one of the members that doesn't sing very much sang that one. I thought it was a good song, but it didn't seem as, how do I put it? It didn't seem as produced as the other songs. It seemed like it was a little flatter than the other ones.
Maybe a little bit of an afterthought.
Yeah, like maybe we're fucking sick of working on this album. Put it at the end.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, maybe not, but
And I thought it was a better closing track than necessarily than the Undertow would have been.
yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes when you do kind of like a slow song like that's like gets really fucking weird at the end. You want to kind of just like up the energy a little bit to close out. I thought like it was a good like bookend after that.
Yeah. I think it was definitely a good idea to make the Undertow the penultimate one before the closer.
You want like the second to last side B song to be like the slowest, weirdest song on a record generally, and then kind of go back to one of the more high energy ones for the closer a lot of the time.
Yeah. Definitely a good formula.
Someone who thinks a lot about album flow, obviously. Yeah.
Well, I think overall, I found side B to be heavier than side one on a whole. But side one seemed to have more of the immediately rememberable moments. Like when I think about this album, it's all moments from side one for the most part.
Yeah, it was a good album. It's the second side not being quite as good as the first side is true of like most albums. As a whole, it was really strong, I thought.
Yeah, as a whole album, I think it's very strong. Almost every time I put it on, I listen to the whole thing. So,
is it your favorite Red Fang album as a fan of the band?
I'm not sure.
It's the one you own on vinyl, or do you own all of them on vinyl?
No, I don't. Like the first one is great. I have most of them on CD up until their latest one, I think, but I have listened to that one. It might be my favorite one. I'd have to actually go through and listen to them all again. I got burnt out on stoner rock for a long time because I was playing it and listening to it a lot, and a bunch of stoner rock bands shot up in Omaha. And after I was done with Valley of Shadows, I was like, I need something else. So I actually really haven't listened to it a whole lot.
I get that. I remember, the first Omaha band I had, I've been, by that point in time, I've been playing like a mix of 80s hardcore mixed with like 90s skate punk for a decade at that point, and I was ready just for a change. And so for a short time, I joined a new rock, but not new metal, but new rock.
Yeah,
we were going to cover a Hinder song. I was in the band for maybe 2 months. And
was that the band that when you auditioned or joined, someone who wasn't even in the band, or like
the
a side
roommate?
like the roommate came in and was like, "Oh, you like X?"
Yeah. Because I played a song I had written. She had said that Rise Against was one of her influences. Like, well, they're a punk band. Right?
Yeah,
that's fine. All right. So I went in. That was the kind of hook that got me in. And so I played what I played, and she jammed to it on drums, and it was, had this riff like, very Billy Zoom-esque.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, I actually called the song Billy Zoom because I didn't have, any lyrics for it at that point in time. Yeah, and her roommate was just like, "Hey, you listen to X, don't you?"
Yeah.
But then she kind of described what she's looking more for, and I was kind of like, all right. So I dropped tune down to D and did some basic bullshit. And you're like, yeah, like that. Okay.
And how long did you say you were in that one? Like 3 weeks? Yeah.
2 months?
Yeah.
And I did go to their first show. And I don't know how many I don't think it really lasted all that long. It just wasn't my thing.
No, yeah. We were going to do an X album at some point.
Kind of like my month or two long band where I joined up with a hardcore right-wing libertarian who got his ego up in a bunch, even though he'd never like done anything before, and was like, "This is my band and my vision," and I'm like,
And this song is called Flat Tax.
and I'm like, motherfucker, I wrote all the music for this, so I took the drummer and fucked off. So,
Yeah.
as far as I know, I've tried to Facebook stalk him before, but I haven't been able to find him, so I think he's given up.
Probably.
He was also January 6th with John Schaefer.
Yeah. All of our songs are about fucking Ayn Rand, and I'm like, God, I fucking hate Ayn Rand. And I told him that, can we like find a mutual thing here? And he's just like, well, you know what? On your way up to where you want to be, you got to do some things that you don't want to do. I'm like,
all right, then we're going to do a tribute album to Barack Obama.
well, and the only song I used to sing in that band was a Megaton. It ended up becoming a Megaton song, and he fucking hated that I sang one of the songs.
Which one was it?
That was My Mind's Eye, which
Oh yeah, I remember that
which
one.
we got live versions of on my website. But yeah, that was an interesting experience. Never be in that situation again. But it's not as bad as the time where I was jamming with a bunch of literal Nazis in my hometown, so that took me way too long to figure that out.
That's a story.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, what was it when the guy shaved off to the Hitler mustache? Why wasn't that the thing that cued you off?
I was 19.
Well, and like the guitar player listened to Alex Jones, and that was before he was as famous, so
right.
It was easier to be like, oh yeah, it's quirky, he likes Alex Jones.
Yep. Like people, for a long time, people only knew Alex Jones as like a weird guy who called into Coast to Coast a lot. Like,
yeah.
Like there's before that school shooting that he called a false flag, there is a level of plausible deniability. But yeah.
Well, I don't know if the plausible deniability goes that far. But if you're going to do an X album, might maybe want to take that into consideration that Exene is also calling that a false flag shooting.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know if I'll be going to the X show here in the next couple months.
Well, we could listen to Ace of Base and then get really.
As far as I know, Ace of Base was like, I'm a Nazi, and like, you know what? I was wrong. I'm no longer a Nazi. Here's some happy dance music. As far as I understand, that's what the situation is, and you know, people fuck up.
Well, we were just talking about a friend of the pod, Varg Vikernes, and that never happened for him.
Friend in air quotes. Yeah.
If this was Behind the Bastard, Sophie would be like, yeah, let's not call him friend of the pod.
We're going to cut to commercials and see if we have a podcast when we get back.
Yeah. When we were talking about Varg, though, I did talk about how I pirated his awful RPG source book once because I was curious, and it was bad. It's the kind of RPG source book a Nazi would write. Yeah.
Oh, these unclean people. You're analogous. You mean them as the Jews, right?
Yeah. There were
okay.
Yeah, there were clear stand-ins for the kinds of racial hierarchies that Nazis believe in, like very obviously.
All I can say is, oy vey.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't pay for it, so yeah.
Just like I've never paid for a Burzum album, but I've had to listen to them because curiosity. I mean,
Yeah.
I had to know. I had to listen to the album of the motherfucker that stabbed another motherfucker like fucking 30 times.
You know, yeah, I can understand the appeal. I was curious about Screwdriver, but yeah, I didn't listen to Screwdriver. I listened to Jew Driver.
Jew Driver's awesome.
And no, they're not,
But,
because they're playing Screwdriver music, and I found out Screwdriver music sucks too.
It does suck, but I'm saying it's awesome that they took that from him.
Also as a concept.
Yeah.
Yes. The actual songs.
Actual songs are shit.
Not all of them can be zingers. Well, all right. So that was Red Fang. You guys gonna ever listen to that album again?
Probably, yeah.
Nice.
I won't put it on my Spotify. Don't ever listen to it. No. I'm kidding. You know what? Because it is stylistically the same, I am going to add it. I think I'll just add Red Fang to my Desert Rock playlist.
Well, and I think as they went on, they added some more elements that I think both of you guys would like even more than this album. So I would say if you enjoyed this one, you would probably enjoy their catalog even more as it progresses. But then again, I call you a wild card because I never quite know what you like and don't like.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
To be fair, I probably should add Clutch to the Desert Rock playlist too, because they fit right in. They really do.
Oh, I love their Psychic Warfare album. That's one of my favorites that they did.
The self-titled from '96. That was one of the albums of '96. You know, actually, it might have come out in '95, but I graduated high school in '96, moved out, and that album we listened to non-fucking stop.
I wonder, Megaton used to get compared to Clutch like all the time, and even before Mario joined, because Mario's a huge Clutch fan.
Yeah.
And I never understood it until I listened to their earliest stuff.
No, I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
But yeah, but it can be fun to ask Don his opinions on random bands. What are your thoughts on Flipper?
You know, I've actually only listened to very little Flipper, and it's kind of like, it technically fits the definition of punk rock. It kind of reminds me more of Butthole Surfers.
It's technically punk rock, the best kind of punk rock.
Yeah. Another episode we're working on is like a punk comp, and I was like, okay, yep, Don hates this one. Don hates this one. Yeah.
Don hated Headless Cross.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you ever listen to side 2?
No,
Did you get all the way through side 1?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have liked side 2. We should have you on. I'm curious. They just remixed. Well, it's not their last album anymore because they did 13. But the last one that Tony Iommi did before all the reunions in the 90s was Forbidden. And I thought that album was terrible. I did not like it. To me, it sounded kind of like, did they throw this together to get out of their label contract? And so I was very skeptical on whether or not they'd be able to like fix that with just a remix. But I've listened to it, and it didn't make it perfect. But God, they really brought out some things in that album that I didn't think were ever in there. Like it was all buried in the mix. Like there was a point where they did there was a vocal harmony in one of the songs that used to annoy me, and I don't know if he used a different take or if he cleaned it up enough that the harmony in his vocals was coming through, because it didn't annoy me in the remix version. So it would be funny to bring you on for that one, because Clayton likes Headless Cross, but he hates Forbidden.
Huh.
And he doesn't think it can be fixed with a remix, so maybe we'll invite you back for the box set.
Or maybe invite both of them for point counterpoint.
I did describe us as the crossfire of podcasts.
Oh God.
I put it's kind of like Crossfire, except it doesn't make Jon Stewart sad.
We don't know that for sure yet.
I assume right now, because we're a 5-star podcast, that Jon Stewart isn't sad by us.
Yeah. One of those 2 5-star reviews is Jon Stewart.
Confirmed. Don, you got anything to plug?
You know what? I'll say that I'm in a band, and big things are coming soon.
What's your band's name?
Hot Rods to the Gods.
All right. Keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
And your ear holes open.
I was in that for 2 seconds.
You got fired.
You were fired.
I got fired by both the Peterson brothers.
But that's okay. You're still my friend.
You're my mortal enemy now. Then I'm going to invite you on for podcast.
All right. I don't think there's anything that we can plug that you don't already say in the pre-recorded outro thing. So
yeah, we'll bring you back. We'll have you bring an album. We'll have Dave bring an album. We'll have a good time. We'll drink more beer. We'll eat more insert generic restaurant here.
And depending on the album, I might be a different person. Who knows?
Hey!
It's a crazy world out there, children.
All right. Go listen to Red Fang. Dave.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
pizza. And then we had a few garlic and cheese croutons with my Bloody Mary.
Nice. That's Bloody Mary's just tomato soup, right?
I remember that sound from practice.
Yeah.
Side 1, Side B is a Floof Goof Studios production. Check us out on the interwebs by going to my website, killrockmusic.com. That's KILRAVOCK music.com. And there's a tab for Side 1, Side B. And additionally, you can check out me and Dave's projects, The Illiterates and Lucid Fugue, respectively. You can also check us out on Instagram at Killrock Music SWS and Dave_Diction. You can also check out our subreddit, Side 1, Side B, and there I post various updates and memes and other bullshit. Thank you.
Waka waka!